What's up, Clinton? So we have this currently. We have our administration portal, but more importantly, we have our overlay. So this will allow you to filter the various stats that we're tracking by host, by game mode, change colors to match your stream, etc. Toggle on and off grid lines. So now I need the ability to display messages. So when people log their games, when games are submitted to the back end, when stats update, that will be able to be embedded into a profile as well. So fingers crossed that that works. So right now I'm just starting. So I'm building out the service in the back end that's going to actually listen to changes in the database and store that data to be displayed. So I think I'm going to store it by host or by streamer, I guess I should say, and have streamer specific messages as well as, say, global messages for various events. So yeah, I'm just going to get after it. I'm glad. Obviously, since this is a very fledgling stream, if there's anything I need to change, feel free to let me know. Can't decide what I want to do here. And I don't necessarily need an initialization function, but if I do have the ability to change the host, I probably will need the ability to get rid of the listener. So I think I'm gonna leave it. What's up, man? I'm wearing your second favorite shirt. I definitely need Stream Elements to quit getting rid of my chat. I don't look over there often enough. Any way you could tweak that, Daddio? Well, I'm glad you think so. Okay, so again, what we're doing right now is we're building out the back end for the messaging center. So this is what's going to actually listen to the messages in the database. So yeah, I don't think we need this right here. No, I don't need that. So instead of type, we're always going to be listening to the message center. Let's see. I don't think we should initialize the messages unless we actually put in the host. Yeah, I think that's a good plan. I think we should require that a host be put in before the messages get listened to. I like that. So I don't need the initialization. So if you don't have a host defined, I'm just going to return out of the method. I want you to have a host. And when I build the form out, I'll make that a required field. So if there's a listener, that's what this question mark means. So if there is currently a listener, I'm going to turn it off. Then I'm going to set the initial reference to, I think I'm going to build the database to where I have hosts and then slash the host name. And I will store that as lowercase just to make sure that I get it right. All right. And instead of getting the reference to database like this, I need to do it slightly differently. I need to actually come over here and add the new database. So we actually have a message center database. And that string corresponds to this right here. Tetris stats message center. Boom. And I have the permissions set up such that in order to read off of this database, you have to have certain permissions. And you can't write to it at all because they can only be written to via the administration interface in the cloud portal. So this is going to be totally generated by the system with no manual intervention required at all. So now we need to get that database like this. And now I can actually make a reference to that here. Message center. There we go. Then we get a reference to host slash the host's lowercase name. And we're going to limit it to the last. We're going to start off by 10. Thanks, Daddio. I actually wanted to do that before I started. That's why I started a little bit late. I just couldn't find out how to do it. Okay. I appreciate it. I think, oh, interesting. I think you are a mod. At least I made you one. I don't know that that means much. We can take a detour real quick if you tell me what to do. Okay, so when we get a value change in our database, we're going to update this value. So we're going to say new data. For every single data we get, we're going to add it. Child.val. Absolutely, Daniel. And replace our current messages. What's up, man? No worries. Daddy is going to educate me on the ways of Twitch. I can. Sure, absolutely. Where do you need me to go? Okay. My channel. Okay. Now what? Okay. I do. It's hidden by my stream overlay. I did. Okay, I'm there. Uh-oh. I understand. Preferences moderation. I see it. You are a moderator. I did. And roles manager. Uh-huh. You are. Mm-hmm. Sure. You are there. You are as well. But I will definitely do it. Yes. So dashboard. It's a nice little behind the scenes tour. Let's see, where do we go? User management. That's bot. I don't think it's, yeah. Your level is moderator. Um, okay. User. There's. I see it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm there. You have full control. Yes. So that's when I click up here, I can go to Daddio right here by using this drop down up at the top. Oh, interesting. Absolutely. For full control, generate. Now everyone's going to have access to that. That's fine. Let's see. Discord. What's up, man? I really appreciate this. Hey, boss. Daddio wants to know what the command for set title is in Stream Elements. Is that just a command? Oh, in Twitch. Sorry. Okay. Now that you have all the access, I'm gonna go ahead and head back over here. You want me to let you go? All right. Take care, man. Sweet. All right. Thank you, Daddio. You're such a dad. All right. So, where were we? We're attempting to listen to messages. So I'm going to structure the data like this. I'm going to say that we have a hosts, and then we have, let's say, DaddioTV. And inside of DaddioTV, we have various messages here. So This message will be, say, 0 with a value of what's up. So now we should be able to grab all of the messages, and I'm sure I'm going to want a little bit more rich data than that. But we should still at least be able to see that it's working. So as of right now, we won't have a host. That looks correct. Okay, so now we need to actually create the page that will allow us to see this stuff. So I'm going to shamelessly steal. What should we use? I'm going to steal the overlay page. And we're going to name this to Message Center. Yeah, if you would be so kind as to get rid of the chat going away, that would be wonderful. I'm almost certain that I did that thinking I was brilliant, and I realize now that it was a terrible decision. So the way this page is laid out, you can imagine that this page has 16 columns, and we get to choose exactly the width of the items that we place into this grid. So we want our options to be over to the right, which is really, in this case, just going to be our host. And then we want our message center to be over on the left. Thanks, Daddio. So instead of using find and replace as every coder's best friend. So instead of using the overlay service, we're going to use the message center service. And I'm just going to do a replace all on this page. So we'll start using it, the correct one. And here, all I'm going to do on the left side is for every message center. So I'm going to do message center service dot messages. And then I'm going to do a map on that message. So basically every single message is going to come to me like this. And I'm just going to log out a p tag that's the message. And all my chat went away. Sad day. So over here in our form, the only thing that we care about is the host. And I actually keep the hosts as a list because every time a game is added with a new host, it automatically updates our list of hosts, which is super nice. And again, because this entire platform is, I'm glad that you made it bigger. That's nice. Since our whole platform is based around making it take longer to write a message than to read a message, it takes effectively no time to pull any data that I might need. So we're going to make a new button. So to do that in semantic UI, we do form.button. And we're just going to say update. And the on click for that button is going to send a message to the message center service dot listen to messages. So it's going to know, hey, we've updated this host. I need you to listen to messages again. And that's pulling from the init service, which is perfect. Don't need any of the recharts data. Don't need our nifty hue picker. You don't need anything from drop-down data. And this needs to be message. So now that we have our page created and we have a service in the back end that's listening for these, we should be able to add that page to our navigation menu right here. And I'm going to do it exactly like I do for overlays. This is the human readable text right here. and we want this to be, we actually don't want to load anything. This right here says, what functions do I need to run whenever we load this page? In this case, we don't actually want to run anything because we want to require them to put in a host first, at least for the time being. So now if I go back over to the main page, we should see that our message center is here. And it exploded. Oh no, I forgot one thing. So we have it added there, but we haven't told the application what to render yet. So we need to go to our main function right here and say, if the page is message center, then load in our message center. And we need to tell it where to find message center. And I can just paste that. Oh, no, I can't. There we go. So now, when we go to message center, it should load. Note that it does not automatically attempt to pull any data. When I select DaddioTV as the host, okay, it exploded. So that is okay. I know what I did. So here we need to handle that change in the form. So right here on handle form change. Oh, and I can actually have it automatically redo the listener. I think I should do that. So instead of having the button over there that updates after we put in the host, thank you, Daddio. I'm going to have it automatically list to the messages when we change the host. So let's verify that that works now. So if we go here and change it to Daddio, host is not defined. I beg to differ. Okay. Oh. There we go. So when we change it to Daddio, we see what's up. Yeehaw. So that means our backend is working properly. And it's complaining that every item in my list should have a unique key property. And that's actually true. So whenever it renders all of the items onto the page, here in the, where are you? Here in the message center, it wants each of these p tags to have a unique key. So the key needs to be equal to the index of this map function, and we can retrieve that by simply asking for it. Now when we reload the page and reload Daddio's messages, we don't have an error, and we see the messages. And I think that is pretty freaking sweet. So now if we go add another message over here, that's 1. We can see that it automatically loads over here in the message center. So we should make it to where it can grow up or grow down. I think that would be something very nice to have. So what we basically want to do is add a checkbox or a radio button that allows for the, so I'm going to add a checkbox that says reverse direction. That's how we're going to handle this for now. So I already have a checkbox over here. I'm going to steal. You like Daddio? So we're going to steal this for reverse direction. And our name is going to be reverse. And it's going to be message service reverse and message center service dot handle checkbox. So we have to do handle checkbox specifically because the checkbox works differently than a regular form input. It's not the cleanest thing I've ever seen, but it does work. So you'll see what I'm doing here in the overlay service. We handle the checkbox like this. It uses a data.checked instead of a value. So I need that same thing in the message center service to be able to handle that checkbox. But it is just that simple. And then over here, we need a new observable that can hold our reverse. I can't remember if I called it reversed or reverse. I'm sure one of y'all is probably thinking I'm an idiot right now. You wouldn't be too far off. Okay, so we're going to call it reverse. And we're going to make this equal to false. So now down here, the way we're actually going to use this is you'll see it's calling an unshift function. There are two ways. I'm sure you are, Daddy. There are two ways to add elements to an array. We can either push them onto the array, which adds them to the end, or we can unshift them, which adds them to the front. Why it's called unshift, I really don't know. What we're going to do is say if this dot reverse. So if we have reverse, then we're going to do a push instead. Otherwise, we're going to do an unshift. So now we should have a button that allows us to, or a checkbox that allows us to reverse the order. And when we do that, we should also listen to messages. So you're hearing a lot of, oh, is that money or an Uno reverse? It's too small. Either way, I'm sure you're right. Daddio, please do. Okay, so let's go see if this works. So we're going to select DaddioTV, and we're going to, it worked on the first try. Wow. Okay, so we reverse the direction. You'll see that it grows up instead of down. So I think that's awesome. So this pretty much already is the message center, but I think we need timestamps, and I think y'all will probably agree. So we definitely need timestamps in our messages, so that automatically means that the messages that we're retrieving here are just not good enough. So we're going to need to go and define a message data type. It won't be anywhere near as complicated as a game. So let's define a message. Okay, so we're going to want a message to have a body. We're going to want a message to have a date. Let's see, what else might we want a message to have? We want it to have an author. I think that's good for now. And we're going to have a constructor that can receive all three of those things and set them for us. So we can do this with just one line of code. Okay, so we're going to call this message. So now instead of over here, so when we get this child.val, we're going to say, let's do this even better. We're going to create a setter as well. Oops. Message.body. Okay, so now we have a setter as well. So what we can do is in our service, when we receive a new notification from Firebase, instead of doing child.val, we say new message child.val. So that's going to automatically take that and go create a new message with it, with all of those things that we just defined. Okay, so it's probably going to explode because the data currently does not look like that. Okay, so we need to go make it look like that. So, hosts, and this is again just test data. So, DaddioTV. and we're going to have this message is going to be 0, and 0 is going to have a body here, and it's going to have an author, DaddioTV. Let's do this right. And it's going to have a date, which is actually today's timestamp, but I'm not exactly sure how to get that from here. Let's do, I don't know if it's intelligent enough to do this. We may have to, yeah, we'll change this. This in milliseconds. So I need to add 3 zeros to this. Okay, so that should be an accurate time in milliseconds. We'll see. Okay, so we exploded. Let's go see why. Okay. This is because I'm not doing, I think this is because I'm not doing this yet for here. What's up, man? Okay, that's fine. So let's see what kind of data we're getting from here. I was hoping it wasn't all going to be easy. Doesn't look like it will. Okay. So we're getting actually exactly what we want. Ah, I see. So I haven't actually changed our render function up here to render it properly. So let's just render out the message.body. I left it as points for now. I don't know. I was trying to think of something really interesting. Bits is just as good as anything, and it is kind of programmer lingo-esque. So I'm cool with that. Okay. I think it's just that the data isn't exactly what I'm expecting it to be. Okay. So, it is what I'm expecting it to be. Interesting. So it doesn't like that I'm attempting to map over those, it doesn't look like. So let's see if I get rid of this for now, and I attempt to pull. Do I still get an error? No, I don't. Perfect. So I just need to map over this the correct way. So I'm mapping over an array. Each of those array elements is message. And I'm attempting to put inside of a p tag its body. I can definitely do that soon. Do I have an idea for a logo? No, I do not. Let's see. Okay, so this should be working. This is one of those very common instances in programming where I have no idea what's going on. So we're going to figure it out. So it doesn't think that I should be able to iterate over that. So I have messages. I am pushing them. I'm replacing them. Logging out the body. Logs successfully. Okay. So I may have to render it with object.entries. Let's see how I did it for the game queue. So inside of the game queue, we map them, and we do effectively the exact same thing. Okay. Very interesting. See, here in the nav bar, I had to do things slightly differently. Let's see if perhaps I can do that same thing. So let's just iterate over the messages. And I'm going to use a map to map out the keys and values. And for each one of those, I'm going to render a P, just like before, that has the message.body here. I guess in this case it's value.body. And we're going to have a key of key. See if it likes this any better. Oh, that's messages. Okay, we don't have an error, but we don't have any messages. So we want to do two things. Let's see if I can log out the entire value here. Cannot. Okay. Ah, thought I had that already. Oh, still wasn't it. Sad day. So we shouldn't need to do object.entries because the messages are already an array. So we shouldn't have to do anything other than iterate over them. Okay. And this is getting me back to what I had before, which is this. Right here. And again, I think it's just down to structuring of the data at this point. So if I pull that, that should be correct. So let's go take this out. Okay. Interesting. Aha. So oh man, really? So you'll see that I'm sending the message.val into the constructor. That's wrong. I need to be sending it into the set. So now it's going to properly call the set. And I should be able to go back over here into the message center. I know, dude. That's what I do. I just screw things up. Hopefully this is better. There we go. Okay. Unable to access body. Message is undefined. That's fine. This is a much more interesting error. So if I go here to the service, message set of the child.value, let's go check and look at the message. We're logging out the body after the set. Let's go see what it says. The body is Heya, so we do have the this.messages.replace with the new data. So that should be replaced with the messages inside of new data. And then when we go back over here to our message center, we should be iterating over those messages and grabbing the body. And interesting, it says the message was undefined. Okay. So the last thing to check is that the messages are actually getting we're going to check and see if the messages are actually getting set by logging out the body. There we go. So it's not, because the message is undefined. Interesting. I wonder how that is, because this should be getting replaced with this new data. Oh, this has actually bitten me once before. We have to return the message out of this back to the message center. See, this is why I love programming. It always just humbles me, and I need that. Okay, go back to message center. Map over that, display the body, pull down that, hit Daddio, and there we go. We have Heya. So now we need that to turn into a, we need to display a date and we need to display the author. So for the author, let's just simply do something like a strong tag. With the message author. And in front of the author, we should put the date. So let's see how this looks. It's probably going to log out the raw date, and that's okay. Okay, so we actually don't want that in the strong tag. So instead of the message storing the date like that, we want the message to create that, to turn that into a JavaScript date. So here inside of our message, in our setter, instead of just setting the raw date, I actually believe I have a date util that will get a millisecond and return a date time. So this from millis function, we want to call that. We want to say utils dot from millis and message dot date dot to format, and we want a pretty format. Let's go look at the Luxon data formats and see what we can get. Okay. I've actually done this once already, but it never hurts to do it again. Okay. Let's see, there's all sorts of pretty ways to do this. ISO format is so boring. Date.full. This one, I like this one right here. Okay, so now we need to import our utils class. And with any luck, that won't blow up, but who knows, it might. There we go. So we have our time. It's a pretty time. We probably need some spacing there. Awesome. So now we should probably turn timestamps. We should probably make a checkbox for timestamps. So over here in the message service, let's create a new observable for timestamps. And we'll default it to true because I'd like to show it off. And back here in our message center, we're going to have a show timestamps. And it should just be that simple. Now, up here, we want to make sure to only display this message just .date after we went through all of that work to get it here. If the message center service dot show timestamps is true, want to do message.date and a space. Like that. And there we go. We can now show and hide timestamps. So, take care, Daddy-O. Audrey's actually about to go meet a friend on a patio for dinner. So I've only got about 15 minutes left. You're not missing much. I just want to get something writing timestamps to here, and then I'll probably call it. But I think this is going to be the most fun part, personally. So what we can do now is we can go look at some of the functions that we have currently. So when we, let's see, from Twitch, whenever we log a game, whenever we delete a game, whenever we add a game to a queue, whenever we confirm a game, we can make it put messages in the message center. So let's make it put a message every time we log a game. I think that would be super sweet. So for now, so here we're looking through all of the players and determining if we need to update their leaderboard. So here, what we're doing is players score updated. Let's see. Just want to log the, I'm just logging the game here, so I just want to do it like right after I get done. I'm just trying to find the very best way to do this. So here, I'm actually going to go ahead and add my message center database. And we can say DB's dot message center dot ref, and then we're also going to do the host dot to lowercase. So that will give us a reference to the message center database. So now as soon as we're ready to do it, which is probably right here, we can just do an await for message center db dot push, and we're gonna it's gonna allow us to push a new message onto the queue, and we're gonna push a new message that's body is score added to queue, and we're gonna do the query.player. So player score added to queue. Date is going to be, I think it's admin.database.servervalue.timestamp for the date, and the author is just going to be the server. How should I handle offers? Can you show the score? Yes, I can. Score of, good call, query.place, I believe. Place of third, second, whatever. Is just when we log messages. Okay, that's a good idea. At least for now, that's all we're gonna have. I definitely think we can have, we can abuse this like nobody's business. There are multiple people too, so don't want too much. I agree. And I'm questioning whether or not we need an author. But for now, I'm just going to put server as the author. So it's going to update that database, and it's going to push a new message onto the message center. So now, to deploy this, all we have to do is run this little command here. And that's going to update the command in Twitch. Let's make sure everything is correct. Okay, I don't need to push a message on update. I only want to push a message on. Yeah, that's perfect. For multiple people. That's actually true. Such a dad. I wish you weren't right all the time. Okay, so that is now updating this, and we can test it very soon by logging some uh, scores, and I'm gonna have Daddio help me with that here in a sec, and I'm gonna watch the database as he does it. That's the only unfortunate thing. It does take about a minute and a half to push these each time, but once they're out there forever. And again, Google is hosting these and giving us 2 million function invocations for free, which is pretty great. Oh, my OK Google on my phone is trying to go. That's awesome. Okay, Daddio, can you log a score for me? Or log game? I really hope this doesn't work on the first try so that we can troubleshoot it. It looks like I may get my wish. Okay, so it says that it logged your score. It did indeed log your score, but our message queue did not get updated. This is great. So let's go figure this out. Ah, here we go. If you update your game, it will work. It's because this block that I added it to, I didn't pay enough attention to the logic. It's only actually getting called from this block when you do an update. So if you could do another log game with a different number, we should be able to see that it successfully logs. I'm going to go ahead and update this in the time being. Okay, let's go back and look at our message queue. And there you go. You can see from the server, DaddioTV's place of 3. So it's there you go. I was going to say it's not Daddio, but yes it is. And that's our proper date. So that's all perfect. Wonderful. So now we're going to update it to where it works on add. But now when we go over to our message center, if we pull up me as the host, oh, super sad day. So now that should show up, but it's not. Wonder why. So oh, you'll see that I made a mistake. It's supposed to be hosts/DevTechTV. And I did not do hosts/DevTechTV, so it's not actually looking in the right spot. Do I really need it to be hosts / DevTechTV? Probably not. But just in case, I'm gonna keep it hosts / DevTechTV. So now our message center DB, we need to do a .ref hosts / plus that. Okay, that's it. So I won't bore you all with another 2 minutes of building and final testing, but that will do it. So, Daddio, thank you. I really appreciate it. And everyone who's here, appreciate it. Hopefully we do some really, really fun things in the future. I'm pretty excited. So, y'all take care. Peace.